All right, guys, let's get into this another episode of the Yankees Den with none other than your host, Lorenzo Scarabino. Now, before we even get into all of that mess that just unfolded tonight, the 6-4 loss of the Yankees, I would like to show with you guys where everything will be happening from now on. This is going to be the Yankees den and this is the home for the next little while till we get more stuff, a microphone and everything like that. I have my hats behind here, Derek Jeter quote, Garrett Cole. We got the Yankees, a little bit about me. And it's just great stuff. It feels great to be here and to not be able to use that green screen and to be able to just feel safe now and comfortable talking to you guys. And it's gonna be really good for you guys to get familiar. I want you guys to come in here and feel like a family with me and like we're chatting and having fun like we've known each other for 100 years. All right, so want you guys to feel comfortable, get familiar with the background, and just interact. Let's interact. Type in the comment section. I'll answer you guys. I'll pop you guys up on the screen. Let's get things going and really make this podcast take off and into something that could get a lot bigger and we could do a lot more on. Now, with all of that being said, let's jump right into what happened tonight with the Yankees. There's a lot to talk about. So we are gonna first jump on to a little bit of a recap of the game. That is what we will do first, usually. And then after we're done with the recap with the game, then we will assess a little bit different areas of the night and see, because it's different with a win and a loss. So see where we need to improve and what went wrong and what not. So Ryan Weathers pitches 6 and 2/3 innings. He gets hit around a little bit, 6 hits, 5 runs, 3 walks, but he has 10 strikeouts. And we're going to talk a little bit on Ryan Weathers because I think it's not great to just put all the blame on him when you see the offense and what they did the whole night. They waited to the ninth inning to kind of get something going. So we'll talk about that. McMahon, a lone bright spot, I feel like 2 for 4. He keeps hitting a little bit. Ahmed Rosario is on administration leave or paternity leave or whatever. So that's why he's not there. So, and there are a couple other topics that we will touch on tonight. Pretty interesting with Ben Rice and Aaron Judge. Can the Yankees offense sustain what they've been doing on this 5 game stretch? Because I don't want to just knock them because they were just on a 5 game stretch. But when Aaron Judge and Ben Rice aren't doing what they're doing, how can the offense pick up their slack and show you that they're not just a two-person show? So, yes, ROT, the offense was dragging tonight. We're going to get into that later into the episode. But first, let's assess Ryan Weathers a little bit because I really want to jump into that. He's someone that I have been high on since we got him. We all know that the injuries were an issue, and we hope is not an issue in the long run with the Yankees as we look to be contenders and we look to have him as a big part of that, whether it's in the playoffs as in the rotation or as a bullpen piece maybe down the road of this year with Max Fried coming back from injury. So I took some notes when I was watching the game, just, the first few innings. And then the first couple innings, his command didn't look as sharp as it usually does. He has had like 2 starts so far where he's lost his control or he's thrown stuff down the heart of the play and it's gotten knocked around a little bit. So so I just want to touch on what went well with him and what went wrong with him. So Brian Weathers, his changeup was on tonight. He did have a good changeup. His breaking ball at times, like his sweeper and his slider, looked like he lost it a little bit. He was getting a little wild. His fastball, as we saw in the first inning to Shea Langoliers, he left that right down the heart of the plate and it got smacked out for a 2-run homer to start off the scoring. So that wasn't great. But I think after the third inning, as I was watching, he was kind of, and it happens sometimes with pitchers, how they start off slow. Like the first inning, it kind of gets them, they have to get into that groove. He kind of got into that groove a little bit as we were seeing down the stretch. He had a nice run. He was striking out guys, getting guys out, not putting people on, giving them free passes. And he was looking really efficient. Now, with all that being said, Aaron Boone comes out of the dugout in the sixth inning. And because Ryan Weathers allows a runner on, and he's facing Nick Kurtz. So I don't think Boone had any intentions of taking him out unless he said, I'm finished, which he didn't. He pleaded his case to stay in, and it's a lefty lefty matchup. So you stay with that matchup most of the time. So I thought it was a great idea to keep Ryan Weathers in. I really thought he was going to get out of it. But with a great young hitter like Nick Kurtz, you do have to be careful, and he hurt you. He gave up that 2-run home run to Nick Hertz, and that kind of put the nail in the coffin because at that point it was 6-1. Then you had Duvall come in for the 1 out, and then you have Bird start in a fresh inning. You know what I mean? And Bird unravels and does what he's been doing. He hasn't been doing good. So I think maybe a little bit it is Boone's fault because I don't know if you push those buttons at a 6-1 game. Maybe he's like, all right, let's give some of our guys like Ben-Nar, Hill, Hedrick, some of them rest and not use them. It's not a high leverage spot. But as we see in the ninth, it gets close, and we will talk about that. But another thing I want to bring up with Ryan Weathers is his innings limit starting to catch up to him? Because as we've seen in years past and what was talked about when he came over to the Yankees was his injury history. And with that being said, you wonder now if the innings are starting to catch up to him. He's been healthy so far this season, knock on wood, pray. But as he's reaching that 90 innings milestone, hopefully he gets to, and exceeds that this season, then are we going to start to see a little bit of a fatigue in Ryan Weathers? Is he going to start walking more guys? So that is a reason I can see the Yankees being more lenient with putting him in the bullpen over Will Warren when Max Fried comes back with everyone healthy, obviously. I see them putting Ryan Weathers there because I think they might be worried about that innings limit. It would completely shock me if he stayed in the rotation, even though I would want him to stay in the rotation because I like his stuff that much. But in the bullpen, I don't mind either because he has that kind of stuff that could play well in the bullpen and be a high leverage guy. Heck, maybe even be a closer if Bednar starts struggling and he's getting a lot of strikeouts and you see he's succeeding in that role in the bullpen, then you can maybe move Ryan Weathers to that closer spot and he gives a little firepower at the end of games when you need that to come out with a win. Especially during the playoffs, you want to make sure you have that arm. So, also, that's really what I wanted to touch on with Ryan Weathers because I really don't think it deserves a whole. I need to go on a whole spiel about that because it's not like he was terrible. He still had 10 Ks. It was really one mistake pitch because if he didn't give up that 2-run homer to Nick Kurtz, we'd be talking about 7 innings, 3 runs, 10 Ks, yada yada yada, and it look like a pretty nice line. And maybe in the ninth inning, that rally, and we take that game, tie it up, go into extras, whatnot, right? So I think that Ryan Weathers is fine. And to answer the title of this video, was it Ryan Weathers, or was it more of the offensive struggles? And I think it should be more focused on the offensive struggles. And the reason why I say this is because our starting pitching has been very strong. Every day, day in and day out, our pitchers are giving us most likely a chance to win. And our offense, I don't want to knock them, like I said earlier, because they've been getting it done for the past 5 games, right? But this is the New York Yankees. Do not get fooled. They go on these hot streaks and then they go on these cold streaks. It happens over and over again, and you don't want to believe in them, and you're like, I'm done with this lineup, blow it up, whatever, trade everyone, like some Yankee fans like to get crazy with. But when you see that going on, you're just thinking, how does it look so good and then they get so lost, you know? So it's just like I said, a big wave. And one thing I want to touch up, a key thing I want to touch up on in the lineup is Ben Rice and Aaron Judge, because when they are not producing, nobody's doing anything. Okay, Aaron Judge had 2 RBIs yesterday, even though he went 1 for 4. But Ben Rice went 3 for 5. He's been picking up the slack. He's been arguably our best hitter in the lineup this year. And I don't think it's crazy to say, because last year you looked at the numbers and you were like, okay, Ben Rice has good numbers. Like, he's a decent player, right? He's above average, a little bit above average. You see that, but then you dive into the statistics a little bit. The baseball savant, even though I don't like to rely that much on baseball savant, I like to use it as a good indicator, but sometimes it's wrong and it can misguide you to believe false things, like Trent Grisham hard hit this season, even though he has gotten onto a little bit of a heater as of late. But Ben Rice was hitting the ball so hard last year, and you saw that, and you're like, it's just a matter of time. This guy's the unluckiest player in the league. Now, fast forward 2026, you are seeing a star in the making. Hopefully, the next Babe Ruth, Babe Ruth on our hands, folks, and Ben Rice. But no, and all serious aside, hopefully you're seeing a player that's going to keep this up over the long haul, and you're going to be able to lock him in as a Yankee, and he's going to be great, right? With all that being said, going back on Ben Rice and Aaron Judge, when they're not there, what does the offense do? Trent Grisham didn't get on today. He wasn't doing anything. You had Volpe in the lineup today. He really didn't do anything. Cabby was on the bench. Arguably our most contact guy was on the bench. I don't know how you do that when you're trying to take the series, because now tomorrow you have to go into a rubber game. But McMahon goes two for 4, so he did his job at the bottom of the lineup. The catcher position, it's whatever. When they go up there, you're like, they look like a lost puppy up there. So you're just praying for anything. You're praying that maybe Austin Wells comes up and takes one of his swings and he jacks one out, and you're saying, hallelujah. How did that happen? I don't know, but I don't care. The Yankees are winning. That's what we need out of our catcher, and it shouldn't be. We need to trust him. But Cody Bellinger had a rough night. He's usually good, so I don't want to pick on him that much. Jazz Chisholm, he got a knock, but the thing is, there in the 9th inning, what I saw is him being a little too patient, right? You saw that he was throwing a lot of breaking stuff. He was throwing stuff to Bellinger, to Aaron Judge, to Ben Rice, and he couldn't locate that pitch. So now you get to Jazz Chisholm, and you have to be thinking, yes, play back a little bit, but also, excuse me, be aggressive in that spot. You want to be aggressive, bases loaded in that game 6-4. And he's not trying to walk you, because he just walked the last few guys. He's going to try and put it in. And what does he do? First pitch, right, 88-mile-an-hour four-seam fastball right down the middle to Jazz Chisholm, and he just looks at it, nodding his head like, Like he was going to send that to the moon if he swung and not pop it up. But when something like that is going on, you got to recognize, okay, he doesn't have the feel for his curveball. He's going to come at me. He might always sit fastball. He's going to come at me with that fastball. He throws a first pitch strike. Okay, maybe not as big of a deal as I just made it. Maybe it's not a big deal. Okay, but you saw he came at you with that fastball. Get me over fastball. He's trying to get ahead in the count to set up something else. Jazz Chisholm spits on 2 balls, then he's just not. I just felt like he wasn't prepared enough for the situation. He was on deck and he should have been more prepared in his mind of what could have been when he got up to the plate, because he took another fastball that he could have swung at and was a better pitch than the last pitch I think he swung at. And you know what he was going for in the back of his head. He was going for a home run. The swing comes up, he gets on top of the ball, and he rolls over the first baseman, Nick Kurtz. Ends the game 6-4 loss, which is not what you want, but also it's not huge. We have the rubber match tomorrow. Will Warren versus Jacob Lopez. Hoping that Will Warren has a solid night and gets that done. Moving on from that, because we covered that a lot and we talked about that, I do want to touch on something that we've touched on. I've started 2 episodes so far. This is the third one, and every episode something has had something in common, and it's like you cannot say it enough how bad this bullpen is and how much it lacks the depth in the major league level. Because if I'm saying it lacks depth, Yankee fans know that we have depth. We have LeGrand and Cruz in the minor leagues that we should be calling up, and you can make a case for Yerry De Los Santos. But with that being said, you're looking at them right now, and you got Jake Bird, you got Doval, who hasn't figured it out, and sometimes he looks good, and sometimes he looks like a melon out there. Just he throws 101, and he's throwing cement mixers, and it's getting crushed out of the stadium, which is not what you want to see at all. But when I see that, it's just like, what do you need more at the deadline? Are you guys, and I want you guys to comment me back, are you guys prioritizing more the catcher position or bullpen? What needs to be addressed first at the deadline? Now, if they address both, doesn't matter the order, okay. But if they were to just address one, what would be the one you would want them to address first? Because I'd argue the bullpen is more important. Pitching wins you games. As much as defense and offense, pitching arguably wins you more games because you need that starting pitching power. As you see with Schlittler and a Cole, they could give up nothing. Then the bullpen comes in. Jake Bird's giving up grand slams left and right, walking guys. Who knows what they're doing? They could freaking go up there with the broomstick and get on base against Jake Bird right now. So, it's not ideal. You do not want that, especially in a playoff series, especially if you made the World Series against the Dodgers. You want Jake Bird coming in, throwing get me over curveballs. It moves a ton, but he throws them right down the middle, and somehow they get pounced on. So you don't want that. And you scratch your head, you find yourself talking about that all the time, but that's really is such a big concern that they have to jump on quicker than the deadline. You or even just call up LeGrand and Cruz and see how they do. You have to switch something up, because I know what a game like this could do for the Yankees. They get on a hot stretch, and now a game like this, and the offense doesn't show up until the ninth inning and goes cold. Now this might snowball into a few games, and you're seeing, oh, wow, the offense isn't doing anything. Where did it go? Kind of situation that you always see with the New York Yankees. So we just got to make sure that that does not happen. They keep their heads up. They come out tomorrow swinging. You take this series in Sacramento and you move on. Right. So with that being said as well, Aaron Boone doesn't dodge any bullets tonight, because he's a big reason why good pitching beats good hitting. I would have to agree with you, ROT services. I really would, because if the pitching isn't there, then because as I talked about in my last couple episodes that you've watched, I talked about Terry Skubal, even though it's not a need at starting pitching, you can never have enough starting pitching because once you have a Terry Skubal, a Cam Schlittler, a Garrett Cole on the mound, or say you acquired a Josh Hader out of the bullpen late in the game, eighth or ninth inning, your offense feels a lot more comfortable and they're a lot more juiced up. Okay, we got Hader on the mound. Let's go get some run support for him. They're not coming out of the dugout and they're like Jake Bird is in. Okay. That's nothing to get up about. So you want these guys with firepowers. You want the juice. You want the energy. You want the moment. You want to be in the moment and you want to get it done when it matters. So Aaron Boone, going back on that because it got a little sidetracked with that, but Aaron Boone doesn't dodge these bullets because of what he did. He did the right decision with Ryan Weathers, keeping him out there, even though it was arguably he was at 100 and something pitches. And you can make the argument he's taken out Garrett Cole, at 75 pitches, even though he's coming back from Tommy John. Maybe you could get a few more pitches out of him that you would like to see Garrett Cole reach, because in the minor leagues, he was built up to like 90 pitches, 95 pitches, 100 pitches. You know what I mean? So to see that was very bold in my decision. And just to throw out Bird there because it's a 6-1 game, maybe he's thinking, and it's not going to get close. I mean, that's just really stupid to me, in my opinion. I just really think that's bad managing and just the lineup construction today, really, because I was upset when I didn't see Caballero, because Caballero changes the whole dynamic of the game. The whole dynamic of the game. If the team offense is not doing nothing, he could get on base, he could steal second, third, or he could steal second. A wild throw goes into the outfield as he's stealing second, he goes to third. A lot of things could happen, and he creates that. Anthony Volpe doesn't get on. He's trying to be a hero too much when he needs to do what he's been doing, make contact, keep that flat swing, keep his hands down, get into that ready position, attack the baseball as he's been doing so far. So all of that we covered was pretty good, and I think those are the main points, because once you really dissect that the pitching really isn't the issue, and outside of Ben Rice and Aaron Judge, that's where you need to get a little stronger, because you don't want to rely so much heavily on them. Then you figure out, the Yankees need that catcher at the deadline, and that's when you start to think and you break down what do the Yankees need, and that's where you find to come yourself. You come to the belief that they need a catcher, and Caballero needs to be in the lineup, whether he's at shortstop, he's at third base, he's in the outfield, whatever it needs. That's what happens in the regular season. That's when you find out games like this, you find out who's the guy that's going to step up when it matters, because in the playoffs, this is what we're going to need, so on and so forth. It is also frustrating to watch the Yankees when you know their weakness is runners in scoring position. It always has been, and I haven't seen anything changed. Even with Bellinger and stuff like that, nothing has changed. They had chances and opportunities tonight, early in the game, late in the game, and then that ninth inning to do more damage than they should have, and they just didn't capitalize on it. And that's something we see all the time with the Yankees. And that's just something that cannot happen that consistently over a course of 162, over a large sample size. You can't just look at their run differential and be like, the Yankees have a high run differential, so they're outscoring their opponents, this, that, and the third. No, it's just because games like versus the Royals, they're shutting them out 15-1. Then they lose a game, say 3-2 or 2-3. Okay, the run differential supports them. I agree. Cabby and Rosario do keep that lineup energetic. They are spark plugs. Both of them in that lineup are spark plugs, and when they're both together, they feed off each other. And when they feed off of each other, the rest of the lineup feeds off of them, and that just catapults them to do even better. So with that being said, the reason why we lost this game, in my opinion, was the runners on in scoring position not getting scored. Also, Goldie doing what he does best. I mean, could not say enough good words about him. Love his veteran leadership. And, I just want to get into a little bit of the box score. I just want everyone to see the box score that I saw today. So we're just going to go into that real quick. All right. Over here we see the box score. We see Grisham. Let's look 1 through 9. What happened tonight, right? Caballero did pinch hit, but then you replace him, okay, with Escara. Understandable because you pinch hit for Wells, so that's telling you. And another thing I find funny, I just want to bring up, I find funny, is the Yes broadcast was talking tonight, and Michael K was saying, I don't doubt that JC Escar is a great dude. I think all of these guys are great dudes. But he's like, JC Escar is working on batting switch hitting. And he's like, everyone's talking about a right-handed bat. I could be that right-handed bat, and let me just switch hit. Please, JC Escar. We love you and we want you to succeed and do good, but we do not need you focusing on hitting right-handed. You need to focus on hitting left-handed first. That's for sure. Okay? We need that to be your main focus and not switch hitting. So that's what we need more. So let's look at this box score right now. We see Ryan McMahon, the 2 for 4. He's up to a 208 average, even though that's not where you want. He's creeping back up. Same with Trent Grisham, 208. And Ben Rice is the only one batting over 300. I mean, Aaron Judge has a 248. He's batting below 250. That's not something you want to see. Hopefully he hits his stride soon. I mean, Soderstrom 3 for 3 for the Athletics. It's they're a great young team. They have a lot of energy, so it's not shocking to see them go off like this. And Nick Kurtz 3 for 4. He's a top hitter in the league. So let's see these. See, this is why I like to look at the box scores after every game, and I think you should, is because it tells you the team with runners in scoring position. We were 0 for 7 tonight, and they were only 1 for 5. But look how many we left on base. We left on base 10 guys. They only left on base 5. And when that happens, you're just not going to win that game. It's really not going to happen like that. And look at Jake Bird giving in those 2 hits that run. Although Ryan Weathers did give five, maybe, if it's, even though it's a run, if 5-1, 6-1, sometimes it can make a big difference in the confidence that you have. Oh, we have to go up 5. Oh, we have to go up 4. Maybe we only have to go up 3. It kills the confidence sometimes, especially because baseball is such a momentum-driven sport. When something like that happens, and when Nick Kurtz hits that home run, it kills all the Yankees energy. And then you put in Jake Bird the next inning, and he's killed the energy again because he's giving up these hits and they're getting on base and he's putting on traffic. So it puts a team down. You want your guys to come in. Okay, Ryan Weathers gave up 5 runs, but who cares because he's been pitching his butt off. So we're going to have this bullpen come in, lights out, hold it down. They're only going to have 5 runs. This offense, we're going to wake ourselves up and we're going to come back and win this game for our boy Ryan Weathers because we know he's got our back and we want him to know we have his back. That's what the Yankees offense and their bullpen has to say in response to something like that, in my opinion. Now, all of that, we can look at this one last time. But yeah, it's really, I mean, Ryan Weathers, 10 strikeouts. It was the 3 home runs. So, not ideal. But it happens. Not everyone is going to be perfect all the time. And that's when your offense really needs to come in and click. So, that is all I really want to talk about tonight, because when they lose, it's not really what to talk about. We break down little by little what they do. We get interactions with the comments, with my views. Thank you tonight, ROT. And we just kind of go from there. Hopefully tomorrow's a different outcome. We have a longer stream and we could talk about some more positives and feed off of that. But one last time before we close out, I just want you to, feel at home over here. We're in the den. We are here. This is the den, you know? And I want to show you guys. I'm still trying to figure it out. I'm new to all this. This is only my third day, my third stream. Still getting some kinks out. We're gonna get different. We're gonna be different, right? We're gonna we're gonna get into a little more things. I'm still thinking. I have some good ideas. Maybe in the middle of a stream, we pause a little bit, take a little break. We do some Yankee trivia, get you guys more interactive with the stream and commenting and going back and forth and having a more debate and seeing where you guys are at, playing a little more devil's advocate with some things. So I'm still trying to figure out what I'm gonna hang up, so I can put more stuff out. I have a ball, signed ball here. You know, I have a special limited edition Yankees thing in here. I'll uncover that and let you guys see it. Well, maybe if you guys are good. And I do want to showcase this Jeter glove. I have to get this, maybe somewhere right there. You guys let me know what I could do. You help me out. We're family. Help me out over here. Tell me where I should put these things up and make it look the best. This is my den, but this is also your guys' den too. So, and we got my fish tank over here. So, it's just a vibe. Let's be a family. And that's all I have for tonight, guys. Good night. Thank you for tuning in on such a late stream. If you're watching this after the stream is uploaded, I hope you watch the whole thing. I hope you subscribe, comment on the video, because even if you comment on it and you see it tomorrow, I will respond to your comments even a day later because I really want to get interactive with you guys. And before I sign off and end it, I know I've been saying before I end it in this, but actually before I end it, tomorrow's game is at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. I will be at work, so a video will not be out immediately after that game. When I come home from work later at night, it might be. I will work on getting that out as soon as possible. So thank you guys for tuning in, and I will see you tomorrow night. Let's go Yankees.